You slapped me? Amaka, you raised your hand on me? How dare you? Mercy ranted and was about to do something when a car stopped in front of the house. Bishop and Trustworthy came out and they walked to the scene, standing on each side of Amaka. So what's happening here? Any proper explanation? Trustworthy asked, looking at Mercy, whose cheek was so red. I think she applied too much blush, Bishop said mockingly. The war only just started, Amaka. You were in trouble, and a very big one at that, Mercy threatened and walked out. Thanks for coming, my bad brothers, Amaka said, facing the two of them. She actually called them on her way home. Are you okay? And who was that lady red cheek who just left? Bishop asked. I will explain everything to you guys tonight. The story of my life from the very beginning. But right now, the most important thing is that I am getting introduced to Shem tomorrow and I need help from you both. Finally, they both chorused with a wild smile. An hour later, the guys already left after making plans for tomorrow morning with Amaka. She had to make oatmeal for Precious and she slept off immediately she finished eating. Amaka started thinking in front of her dressing mirror of how tomorrow will be for real. Is he going to hate me for not introducing myself earlier? Well, I'm expecting this. But then again, I am so scared. A new chapter of my life is going to be opened tomorrow. When she was done thinking, she picked her pen and started writing a letter. The next day, Bishop and Trustworthy were already in Michael's mansion, and Bishop said, God punished poverty in the morning, afternoon, and night. People are already living heaven on earth. All fingers are not equal. True, but I refuse to be the little finger. They met Amaka waiting in the living room already. Thanks for coming, she said. We will never turn you down, Trustworthy replied. Michael came to the stairs almost immediately they entered, and they both chorused, Good morning, boss. And he replied with a nod. He looked at Amaka and she nodded too, so he went back upstairs to Shem's room. He has refused to say or eat anything, and his temperature only got hotter throughout the night. The blanket remained on his head, and he hasn't allowed anyone to see his face. Michael sat beside him and brought out a paper out of his pocket. He said, Son, I know you don't want to see or say anything to me, but here is a letter from your mother. Shem threw the blanket away from his head immediately, and his pale, sick face came to view. He collected the letter and started reading it patiently. Will you ever forgive your mother? I have been around you for some time, but I guess my selfishness made me to keep it away for so long, even after seeing how much you have been craving to meet me. I am so sorry, Shem, the beginning of my strength. Please don't hate me. I missed you and I promise to never leave you again forever. Where is she? Where is my mother? He asked, facing Michael immediately he finished reading. In the living room. She is waiting, Michael replied, and he jumped down from the bed. He fell, but he stood immediately and ran so fast out of the room. Mom, he called, losing his breath as he ran down the stairs. He was already sweating when he got down, only to meet Bishop and Trustworthy. He looked around, but no sign of anyone else. Where is my mother? He asked calmly, and they both left their spots, revealing Amaka, who was behind them. She was already crying, and Shem's eyes widened madly. "My boy!" Amaka shuddered, and his knees weakened as his eyes got wider. Obviously, he was beyond shocked. "Mrs. Smart?" he called with a breaking voice. "Yes, my baby," Amaka replied, and his knees finally went sideways. "Shame!" Amaka screamed fearfully. His eyes went shut and he started going down unconsciously, but thanks to Michael, who was behind him, he caught him before his body could land on the ground. "Son, I am so sorry. Please don't be like this. Don't close your eyes on me, Shem," Amaka said, crying loudly, rushing after Michael, who was carrying him outside the house in his arms. Michael literally jumped into the car with his limp body, and Amaka hopped into, still crying like a baby. The car screeched crazily out of the mansion, driving straight to the family hospital, which is just 10 minutes drive away from the house. When they got to the hospital, Michael didn't even look at the stretcher, which was wheeled out by the nurses. He carried him by himself and only handed him over to the doctor. The doctor checked him, put him on IV fluid, and injected him with a setter. Then he came out to Michael and Amaka, who were impatiently waiting at the hallway. Amaka asked quickly, "How is he faring?" "Well, his symptoms shows he's developing fever, but not to worry, it is mild, so he will be fine. I think he's anxious about something, and the constant anticipation built the sickness in him. Then he fainted as a result of shock," the doctor explained, and they both exhaled in relief. "What happened, Mr. Michael?" "He rarely gets sick unless you do something to upset him. So what is it this time?" the doctor asked. "You won't understand, Doc," Michael replied, and the doctor smiled and said, "He will be up soon. Put your mind at rest," and then left. "Oh, I am so glad. I would have hated myself madly if something bad happened to him. I would have hated myself to death. I still can't take the fact that he fainted because of the shock I gave him. I am a terrible mother," Amaka said tearfully, and Michael held her shoulder before speaking. "I will get mad if I hear you call yourself a terrible mother again. You are special, and he will come around when he wakes up, so calm down, okay?" Amaka nodded, still crying. Bishop finally came in with Trustworthy, and they met Amaka and Michael sitting at the reception. They stayed for a few minutes before a nurse said by the door, "You can come see him now," and they all entered the ward at once. He was still unconscious in bed, and his drip bag was already draining. Amaka simply sat beside him and began stroking his head gently. "Please don't get mad at me for too long. I love you, Shem," she muttered, closing her eyes. Michael was at the other side, staring at her with more affection than before. Yes, he cherishes, adores, and values her. But now, another thing just joined the list, which is respect. He said, "She's a rare type, and I will do even the impossible right now to keep her. Not only for my son, but also for myself." John, on his part, walked into his house holding 2 black bars, which he dropped on the table before walking to the bar. He banged his palm on the wood when he got there, but there was no single bottle of drink left, and at that moment, he was just too broke. He said, "I guess I will just have a dry celebration then," and he walked back to the living room. He opened the 2 bags and laughed when the money inside came to view. He was finally able to get the balance of the money by borrowing from loan sharks, and that was the happiest day of his life. He said, In 1 month, I will become richer by billions. But wait, I can even kill Michael and have all the 16 billion to myself. He started laughing greedily afterwards. He got his phone and texted Michael, "Cash complete. Where are we meeting at? Let's sign the deal." Immediately he clicked send. Mercy barged in again. "One of these days, you will destroy that door and I will tear you apart, Mercy," he heard. She made no sound, just the clicking of her heels till she got to him and did what he wasn't expecting. She slapped him on the left cheek, and before he could say anything, she slapped him again on the right too. "That was what your trashy girl did to me last night. I figured out I should pay it back to you," she said. And without wasting time, John grabbed her by the hair, dragging her to the wall. "John, don't do that," she yelled till they got there. He slammed her head on the wall just like wrestlers do, and she staggered as her forehead got greatly wounded. She began bleeding, her blood wetting her dress. "You know I can play all gentlemanly with you, but at the same time, I can be evil, especially when you act out of line," he smacked. "So why did you choose me back then? You should have stayed with your Amaka. You and your worthy self," she shocked. "Yes, so I should have. At least she doesn't sleep and wake up in complaints. You are the one who has questions to answer as to why you betrayed your best friend," he shouted. "She looked so happy with you back then, despite her poverty-stricken state. She was always smiling anytime you both were together, and I wanted to see the reason, which was why I seduced you, and you fell because you are so cheap. But guess what? I found out that you are not fun at all, and the meat under you is so little. Loser." John, who was already furious, slapped her and said, "You know what? I will get this deal at all costs and then kill Michael. Once I clear him off, I will get my woman back." Mercy laughed crookedly. "Get her back? Well, let's see how that is going to happen after I drag her to the end of hell and kill her," she threatened, walking out with blood all over her face. "Mercy! Mercy!" he called after her. "Born in hell," she replied, slamming the door. It was 5 p.m. and Amaka hasn't stood from Shem's side for once. Same with Michael. Bishop and Trustworthy had to go take care of the office, so they were gone long time ago, leaving just the two of them. "Is he really going to wake up today?" Amaka asked. "It is evening already, and it is taking longer than expected." Michael said to her, "He will be fine. You heard the doctor, right? It's possibly delaying because of the level of shock. But I am scared. What if..." "Hey!" he cut her off, and she stopped. There is no what if anywhere around this circumstance. Just be optimistic. Amaka then said, "If I continue holding back my pee, I might pee on myself. Then go and ease yourself, but don't take long." She left the ward and Michael's mom came in almost immediately. "Michael, what the hell is happening? So Shane is sick and you kept it from me. I wouldn't have known about it if doctor didn't call me," she said angrily. "I just didn't want to disturb you, Mom." "What are you talking about? He is my only grandson and I am mad at you right now," she said hotly, and they heard movements from Shem's bed. They turned at once to see him sitting up already. "Shem!" they both called at the same time, but he wasn't looking at them. He looked around, and when he couldn't find Amaka, he started crying. Did she leave because I passed out? I am never going to forgive her if she leaves me again, he cried loudly. Shame? Calm down, Michael said. She only just went to... And Shem interrupted. Dad, please get her back here. I want just her and nobody else. He cried again, and Amaka rushed in that moment. She actually heard his cries on her way back. Shame, she whispered, almost breathless. Shem stopped crying for a while, staring at her as tears welled up his eyes again. He said, My mother! He got down from the bed and jumped on her. Amaka caught him in her arms, hugging him tightly to her bosom as she began crying too. Shem's hold on her was so tight that she felt breathless again. He was holding her like she would run away if he heard her any lesser. Mom, what took you so long before revealing yourself? I dislike you for that, he sobbed, hiding his face under her neck. I am so sorry, my baby boy. I am sorry for making you wait for so long. I am sorry for making you cry. Please forgive me, she muttered in tears, hugging her bundle of joy tighter. She wasn't expecting it to turn out like this. She was already preparing herself to get snubbed by him for taking too long to confess. But this just brought her happiness overload. She was just so happy as she held her child in her arms for the first time after 8 solid years. Back at Amaka's place, the whole house was a mess as Opeyemi searched for some equipment because he received a text that Amaka has shifted from being a PA to someone who is always kissing and interlocking fingers with her boss in the office. Not just mere messages, but backed up with very clear picture evidence. He found 3 equipments already, and they were on the table: a cowskin long belt, a bowl of dog food, and a pressing iron. He breathed out when he found the 4th, an horsewhip. He dropped it on the table with the other 3 and smiled. Whenever you come back home, I will be available to teach you some vital lessons. Amen, he smirked, staring at the punishment tools. He was still staring when the door opened and came in with a very skimpy dress. She smelt like she showered in perfumes, and she was knowingly showing her God-given features as she walked to him. Opeyemi smiled, looking thrilled and impressed, and said, I want you again. No better man out there. Say no more. I am a cheerful giver, Opeyemi replied. Shem had already stopped crying, but still hiccuping, and stayed in his mother's arms for more than 10 minutes, refusing to look up from her neck or allow anyone come close. Amaka, on her part, has never felt more fulfilled. She just can't wait to document the date, as it is a red letter day. Bishop and Trustworthy came in after work and screamed when they saw the both of them in such a glorious position. I am so sad I missed the climax, Bishop said, and Shem looked up from Amaka's neck, literally peeping out. Well, the introduction is not over yet. We are your godfathers. We brought you out from your mother that day when it was too late to go to the hospital. I even wrote the date down, my best day alive, because I saved 2 lives, Trustworthy added. Michael's mom had never heard this part of the story, so she put down her phone and hugged them at once. She said, I have a lot to do for you both, and I am sure Michael will do more. You don't have to pay us anything. They both chorused. Oh, look at them. Angels in human form. Thank you for saving my daughter and my grandson. She teased Shem, who was still hiding in his mom's arms. Aren't you going to talk to anyone now that you have seen your mom? And Shem cuddled more into Amaka, making everyone to laugh. We should leave now, Michael said, and Trustworthy volunteered to get the doctor to discharge him. 10 minutes later, it was all done and they left the hospital at once with their respective cars. On their way back home, Michael asked, Son, won't you talk to me now? No, sir, Shem replied, and Amaka giggled. But why? I brought your mom. Yes, you did, Dad, but you took too long. If I hadn't caught you kissing, you wouldn't have done the introduction, Shem replied. It's actually my fault, son. I was the one who kept postponing it, so pour all your anger on me, Amaka said. Shem looked at her and said, Just promise me one thing. Anything you want, she replied. That you will never leave me again. If Dad does something bad, you can just run away with me and leave him in the mansion, he said. And Amaka had to laugh loudly. Really? Wetin man do man sef? You are making plans against me even when I am here, Michael said. Dad, please, I am not talking to you, Shem replied, still looking at his mom. Fine, Michael said and concentrated on the drive. Sure, we will run away if he misbehaves, Amaka replied, and Shem hugged her and said, One more thing, Mom. Will you start staying at the mansion from now on? Or I can come stay with you if you want. Amaka broke the hug slowly. Shem. Please, Mom, don't say no or I will faint again, he interrupted. Amaka's eyes became widened. Please stay at the mansion tonight. Cover up the 8 years I stayed without you. And Michael said, I will handle Opeyemi tomorrow, trust me. So please stay at the mansion tonight. Amaka agreed, and Shem suddenly asked, What about Precious? She's with Brian. She will be fine, Amaka replied, and Shem smiled, giving her another hug, since it doesn't cost a penny to. Few minutes later, Michael drove into the mansion, and Shem held his mother's hands, leaving Michael alone like an abandoned child. Mom, please come. I will show you my room. He pulled her upstairs immediately, not giving her a breathing space at all. Michael just maintained his lane, got his phone and saw the message from John. He smiled and texted back, Let's sign the deal tomorrow. We'll meet at a cool hotel at 6 p.m. He sat down comfortably, going through his contacts. Thanks to his sources, he's got Opeyemi's number, so he dialed it. He didn't pick throughout the first ring, so he dialed the second time. Opeyemi picked this time, but the loud moaning sounds from Anne hit his ears immediately. Hello, Opeyemi. Who are you? You are destructing my phone, Opeyemi fired. Anne was screaming louder this time from the background as she had sold her shame in the local market. Michael Lawson on the line, Michael said calmly. Oh, the mad boss of my wife? How did you get my number? Find out tomorrow. Let's meet at the hotel by 7 and talk, Michael replied and hung up. Now what for this man, oh, he said, climbing the stairs. He could hear Shem's loud voice even before he got to his room. And when he got there, he met him on Amaka's laps, showing her his school report cards. My baby is brilliant, Amaka said proudly, and I am so blessed to be your mother. Michael rested on the doorframe as a spectator watching them with a smile on his face. And I almost forgot, Shem said, suddenly jumping down from his mother's legs. He went straight to his wardrobe. Amaka watched curiously, wondering what he was up to. He opened it and brought out his debit card before rushing back to her laps. Here, Mom, I have over 2 million in this account and it is all yours. Amaka could not believe her eyes and her ears, and she whispered, Shem? Yes, Mother. I promised myself to give it all to you when you arrive, and I can't break it. You are my mother and I love you so much, he said. Amaka felt so emotional. Never in her life had she imagined that she would get so much love from her child. But here she is, getting so loved. Since I am not needed anymore, should I leave this house for real? Michael finally talked, coming in. Dad, I love you, Shem said, blowing him kisses. For real? You love me from your mother's laps? Shem laughed and said, I can't come to you now. Sorry, I am going to be a clingy son to my mom, clinging to Amaka again. And Amaka was busy enjoying it. Do you people even care to eat? Michael asked. You promised to cook for me that night. Maybe you should do it now, Amaka replied. Wait! He promised he was going to cook, but he brought you home to do another thing. Dad? I am not ready to talk about it, Michael said, and made his way out with a funny walking step, and Amaka and Shem started laughing. The next day at a hotel, surprisingly, John was already waiting when Michael arrived. You are eager, he said, as he settled in front of him. It's money we are talking about. Just give me the account number and I will deposit it immediately I leave this place. Michael smiled and snapped his fingers. Bishop came in with a bag containing the documents and John took them hurriedly. He didn't bother to read it before signing since they have Michael's signature already. He took his copies, stood up and said, We will meet whenever the land sells out. For now, I have other places to visit, and he rushed out. 5 minutes later, Michael received the alert of the deposit from him, and immediately he took his phone in. Opeyemi showed up. Look who we have here, he grinned as he sat in front of Michael. Let me guess, you are here to offer me money to cancel my contract with Amaka. Name any amount you want, Michael replied. Give me all the money you earned recently. Everything, Opeyemi said. You will have it all, if that's what you want, Michael replied calmly. You are willing to go that far for her? I can see you are really insane, but listen up. The contract is left with a year. Until that 1 year rolls in, I am not ready to let her go, no matter how much you offer. She is my wife. Opeyemi shot and stood. He walked out to Michael. Michael rubbed his palms together and said, It seems like this my brother prefers force. He left the hotel too. He drove home and arrived at exactly 7:30 p.m. But surprisingly, he met only Shem in the living room making call and no Amaka in sight. Where is Mama? Michael asked. She went to pick my photo book from the house, Shem replied. What? She should have waited till I arrived so I would go with her, Michael said. Don't worry, Dad. I am on call with her and we won't hang up till she's back, Shem replied. Michael was surprised. He has never seen a son who protects and cares for his mom this much. He took the phone from him, and Amaka said, "Don't worry, Michael. I'm already in the house and I got the photo book too." He was relieved and they said, "Leave that place immediately, please." "Sure, I am. And where do you think you are going? And where did you sleep last night?" Opeyemi's voice interrupted from the background, and Michael's eyes flicked. "Sometimes you don't come home for days too. Can't I do the same?" Amaka replied. She actually met him by the door when she was about to go out. "Oh, nice one. I think you are getting bolder now because your boss is entering inside you," Opeyemi scoffed. "I am not a slut like the ones who give you freely," she replied. "You must think I am joking," Opeyemi said, and went to the table. He pulled out the tools, or permit me to say, punishment tools, under it and faced her. "You are a dog, so I will treat you like one. You are going to eat this dog food, and I will whip you if you misbehave. If it gets too much, I will burn you with the iron," he said. "Maybe you should go do that to Anne, not me." Amaka smirked and turned to the door, but it didn't open. It's locked already. And before she could turn back, Opeyemi was already behind her. "Open this door," she said, but he replied with a slap on her face. She made to return the slap, but he grabbed her hands tightly, denying her access as the photo book and phone fell from her. "You are so dead," he grinned evilly, pulling her further in. "Let go of me, Opeyemi. Let go," she screamed, breaking free. She wasn't able to get away when he grabbed her again. This time, she bit his arm. But no matter the hardness of the bites, he didn't let her go till he got to the middle of the room, where he tied her hands behind her and made her sit on the ground. "Opeyemi, please stop this madness. You might be a good defender, but I'm a man after all. You can never overpower me. Bad luck." He spat on her, calling the whip. He lashed her back with it, and immediately it met with her skin. She cried out painfully. "Opeyemi, stop, please." He gave her another lash, laughing so loud. She screamed out again. "Michael! Oh, now you are calling his name instead of mine? Shameless!" He gave her another lash. "Stop it!" she cried again, tears leaving her eyes. As he scooped some of the dog food, he forcefully opened her mouth and poured some inside. "Now, this is how to punish a waka waka wife. You know what? You should back for me since you are a DOG. Back!" he ordered, lashing her again. "Ah, Opeyemi," she cried painfully yet again. "Don't call my name. You brought it upon yourself, ungrateful element, getting the pressing iron." He plugged it and waited a minute for the hotness. "Now this is the real pain," he said, bringing it closer to her face. "Let's see if you will still be able to seduce your boss with a burnt face." He laughed, but then a bang sounded on the door. "Who the hell is that? I am busy here," he shouted. Another bang landed on it, and he dropped the iron. "Who the hell?" he shouted, but it was replied with a third bang, almost breaking the door down. He furiously walked to the door and opened it slightly to peep out, but his face was sent back with a current punch. He staggered and fell. Michael kicked the door open. Michael Lawson? How dare you break in? Opeyemi stood, and the moment Michael saw Amaka, his fury bursted into his bloodstream. Her back was bruised as a result of the beating, and her face teary. Then the worst of it all, her mouth stained all over with the dog food, and her hands tied. Michael, Amaka called, and that alone was a bomber. What the hell are you doing here? Opeyemi demanded again. And then the angry Michael faced him. He threw a calculated punch at his face immediately. Opeyemi's face met with the wall as a result of the punch weight. It didn't stop there. 2 of his front teeth were removed. Michael kept adding what I call top-ups. He was still full of rage and definitely won't feel okay if he doesn't empty it all on him. Opeyemi became weak as dodo, but his mouth wasn't. He said, Michael, I am going to deal with you. And Michael targeted his mouth again, and another 2 teeth removed, making it how many? 4 good teeth. He fell flat on the ground and regretted ever opening his mouth to speak. As the Bible rightly said, that no one can enter a strong man's house and plunder his goods unless he first bans the strong man. Michael has dealt with the strong man to an extent, so he quickly untied Amaka and carried her to the couch. Let's just go, she said, holding his shirt. Go where? I refuse, he bluntly replied, removing her hand. He went back to the weak Opeyemi and said, Do unto others what you will like to be done to you is my golden rule. Since you felt good feeding a human with dog food, I will feel better seeing you feast on it as well. Opeyemi started begging. Please don't do this. It was the devil's handwork. I know, because God can never be seen in such a cruelty. So let the devil complete his work. He scooped the first spoon and said to him, a drop must not fall to the ground, else. Opeyemi finished it, and Michael asked Amaka, Where is your bathroom? There, she pointed, and he dragged Opeyemi there. Amaka, who was already scared, stood and followed behind. He got to the bathroom, opened the toilet seat, and said, You must be thirsty after a good meal. Drink some water from here. Opeyemi began struggling, but Michael made sure he drank. Michael, please let's leave, Amaka said slowly. She saw a bit of this side of him that day at the cinema where he beat up the man who tried to take Precious, but it wasn't as wild as this. His eyes were looking so red. Michael, he may die if you keep doing this. Let's go, she said again. And he slowly turned to her. If I didn't show up the moment I did, only God knows what would have happened to your face. Allow me do my job. No one is allowed to touch even your smallest finger. And I am just starting. You see that iron? My darling, he will have a taste of it. So that next time, even when the appetite of wickedness arises in him, he will have reservation. Amaka knelt down and said, My back hurts. You have done enough. Please take me to the hospital. Look at me, my baby daddy. If you do that and get arrested, what will happen to Shem and I? This strategy overworked. Michael looked at the breathless Opeyemi spitefully before letting go of him. He went flat on the ground and started vomiting the food and some of the water he gulped. Let's go, and you will never come back here, Michael told Amaka. She held his shoulders for support as he walked out with her, and her eyes never left his face. He picked the photo book, and policemen came in. We are alerted of domestic violence by your neighbor, they said. They needed no evidence because Amaka's face was just more than enough to prove they were in the right place. Michael told them that he was taking her to the hospital and they had to let them. They got in and arrested Opeyemi even with his condition. Minutes later, Amaka was already in the hospital getting her back treated while Michael waited in the outside ward. He was still very angry. If Amaka hadn't stopped him, he would have killed Opeyemi and wouldn't even think twice about it. He was still waiting for Amaka when his phone rang and he sighed when he saw it was Shem calling. He took a deep breath, making sure his range cleared off. Then he cleared his throat before peeking. Hey boy. Dad, Mom's line isn't reachable anymore. The call got cut almost an hour ago and I've been trying to reach her, but I don't think we'll be coming home tonight. Michael cut him off. What? Dad, is Mom fine? Please put her on phone. I need to hear her voice to be sure about that. Her neighbor had an accident and she's the only one who can stay with her. I chose to keep her company. She's currently in the ward with the neighbor, Michael lied. Ah, is the accident that bad? Is the neighbor okay? Shem asked worriedly. Stop worrying. The doctor said she'll be fine before daybreak, so we'll be back tomorrow morning. I will call Grandma to come stay with you, okay? Okay, Dad. Tell her I love and miss her already, and she should come back tomorrow morning before I go to school. He hung up, turning around to see Amaka, who was out of the inner ward already. Are you okay now? How is your back? He asked. I am fine, but you lied to him. See, if you go home with your back like that, and he detects, that boy will cry till daybreak, Michael replied. I am sorry I came late. You wouldn't have gotten so wounded if I came early. I feel so bad right now. Don't feel bad. You saved me and that's all that matters, she said, and he smiled lightly. But I am not staying here tonight. There is no way I'll be sleeping in this hospital. Really? He asked. Yes, really, she replied. Hey, African Tales by Kalmo Tribe. We are gradually coming to the end of the series. Please like, share, subscribe if you have not. You can also support my channel by buying me a super thanks or buy me a coffee using the link in my bio or the link in the description of this video. Till I bring the next episode of the story, it is a goodbye from here and God bless you.